Bernie. Bernie needs to drop out too.
Yeah, you know what? It's good that everybody ignored him so much and thought that he was just this crazy socialist that would go away. You know, it was really smart of the Clinton campaign, actually, and the
All right,
DNC.
with less than 2 weeks remaining before the
trying
Iowa
to control the
caucuses.
election by making less debates. Good on you.
A new Monmouth University poll of Democrats nationwide show Bernie Sanders now trailing Hillary Clinton by 15 points. She led by 33 points a month ago.
Debbie.
But that comes as a new WMUR CNN poll out of New Hampshire shows Bernie Sanders opening up a shocking, commanding 27-point lead over Clinton. He led by 10 points in this poll back in December. Clinton led by 8 points just in June.
Thank God you controlled that debate thing, because that really helped out.
The Vermont senator is viewed favorably by 91% of New Hampshire Democrats polled, while Clinton is viewed favorably by 65%. Let's look at some more trends. Since last year, Senator Sanders' net favorable rating in New Hampshire has steadily improved, while Secretary Clinton's has eroded over the same period of time.
It all comes as Senator Sanders continues to criticize Clinton's record out on the trail. Here he is talking about Wall Street and the war in Iraq yesterday.
I think on the crucial foreign policy issue of our time, it turns out that Secretary Clinton, with all of her experience, was wrong, and I was right. Experience is important. Dick Cheney had a lot of experience. A whole lot of people have experience, but do not necessarily have the right judgment. Goldman Sachs is part of the revolving door politics of Washington. Over the last several decades, Goldman Sachs, a corrupt major financial institutions, had two Secretary of State, a Secretary of the Treasury. This same financial institution provides huge amounts of money in campaign contributions and in speaking fees to unnamed candidates.
The Clinton campaign responded, saying Sanders is now taking cues from Republicans. In a statement, they point out that Karl Rove has also attacked Clinton for receiving speaking fees from Goldman Sachs. The New York Times reports that Clinton backers are increasingly sending warning cries about the dangers of nominating a socialist. Senator Claire McCaskill tells the paper Republicans won't touch him because they can't wait to run an ad with a hammer and a sickle. And Missouri Governor Jay Nixon said
Wait. Did Claire McCaskill just suggest that Bernie Sanders was a communist?
I have to tell you
Hold on. She came on our show earlier this year and was talking this socialist stuff. Did Claire McCaskill just suggest that Bernie Sanders was a communist?
This is desperation.
A hammer and a sickle?
So here's the thing.
No, hold on. Did a Democrat just suggest that another Democrat, Mike Barnacle, was a communist?
No, I think what she's suggesting is that the Republicans will take full advantage of Bernie's clearly left-leaning politics and run ads, indicating that he has tendencies that sounds like a communist.
You know, we had warnings from Democratic women who said, people aren't going to like you with the way you are about Hillary, which is quite frankly fair, and asking questions and just wanting her to be on the show so that she can answer them herself, because she's really good at that. And this is a price being paid for not taking a very strong candidate seriously. And now they're going, it's not going to work. It's like 20 years ago running against a woman and treating her badly.
The problem is, Willie, there's desperation here, and there's desperation because one line of attack is you're trying to tie Bernie Sanders to Republicans, which is nonsense. They're suggesting that the IG is working, of the Intel Committee is working to leak documents. The Republicans are, that to help Bernie Sanders. They're bringing in Karl Rove doing the same thing. And then on the other tack, they're going to use this socialist/communist attack against Bernie Sanders as well. So they're saying he's a stooge of the right, and he's a stooge of, who was the guy that always ran? Gus Hall, whatever.
Gus Hall, communist.
As communist every 4 years.
Yeah, they're trying to marginalize him. And for months, you could sort of pat him on the head and say, my good friend Bernie Sanders, because she was up by so much in every single poll going down. And now as it's tightened up, we've seen her go down the list of issues, whether it's guns or health care or him being a socialist.
Wall Street.
At Wall Street. And now she's got Claire McCaskill and other people going after her colleague in the Senate,
Yeah.
by the way, Claire
Yeah.
McCaskill.
It's not.
Claire said to me on this show, "Oh, you just don't want to run against Hillary." And I said, "Oh, why? Because running against someone under FBI investigation for possibly," and we learned, I think, this week that there's a lot of email in question. I mean, the notion that this is some, you Republicans are so stupid, except when Democrats think we're masterminding the outcome of a Democratic primary. So the notion that Republicans would rather run against Bernie Sanders, I think, is ludicrous. He is the most authentic person.
I actually, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, I had a conversation with Donald Trump a week ago. He said, if you were in my position, because he's, you know, Donald senses things. And like a week ago, he was like, I'm sensing things are moving here. He said, if you were me, would you rather run against Bernie Sanders? And I cut him off. I'd rather run against Hillary Clinton. I said, you are who you are right now politically because you were running against a Bush. And so you could run against 25 years of the entrenched political class. You want to run against a Clinton. You do not want to run against Bernie Sanders. If you are able, I mean, you as the outside radical candidate, being able to run against a Bush in the primary and a Clinton in the general election, that's drawing an inside straight. And the Wall Street Journal this morning is basically, Mika, saying the same thing. People that think that Bernie Sanders is like the easier target right now, do not sense what 2016 is all about.
This is called inevitability coming to bite you in the butt, because quite frankly, they should have run a good campaign where she engaged with human beings, real ones, from the get-go, and the DNC did not control the debates, and then she'd be better off now because she'd be out there acrobatic, ready to go, well-oiled, and in it. And instead, she's 10 because she has been hiding. And it's not Hillary Clinton, it's the forces around her. The Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, taking Sanders seriously. It's time to take Bernie Sanders seriously. The Vermont senator is leading in Iowa and New Hampshire. And in Sunday's debate, he sounded for the first time like a candidate who thinks he can win. He still isn't the favorite against Clinton, the Clinton machine, but it's no longer impossible to imagine the 74-year-old socialist as the Democratic nominee. Mr. Sanders has already moved the Democratic debate sharply to the left, forcing Hillary Clinton to chase him. Many Republicans claim to welcome a Sanders nomination on the assumption he'd be easy to beat. But don't be so sure, at least not this year. We aren't predicting this, but in a campaign that has already busted normal American political conventions, the possibility of an extreme election outcome is no longer unthinkable.
Nicole, I had several very Republican people say to me after Bernie Sanders was on here for 20, 30 minutes, basically calling and guilty, saying, I really liked him a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of people that like Trump, Bernie Sanders has been my dad's second choice since last summer.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
a lot of people that like
Really?
Trump because he's going to burn down sort of the traditions of establishment,
Wall
business
Street
as
and K
usual,
Street.
think that Bernie's the second best choice. He may not come at it from the same universe ideologically, but he has the same disdain for the status quo.
And Willie, in 2016, that's the key. So
Absolutely. There's a couple numbers I just want to sprinkle in from that Monmouth poll where Hillary Clinton's national lead is shrinking. But if you look inside the numbers, she still leads by 50 points, 5-0 among minority voters. That's African American, Latinos. She's up 20 among women, 30 among moderates. So she's still in a good position.
There's a
but
lot
boy,
she can
she's
do.
got a threat coming. Yeah.
Some people need to get out of her way.
Yeah.
Remember her in New Hampshire years ago? She can do this. It's got a lot of forces in her way.
So we go. Also, Jay Nixon, also governor out of Missouri, was talking about a meltdown, a complete and absolute meltdown if Bernie Sanders, all the way down the ballot, if Bernie Sanders won. It's amazing. The Democratic establishment is now sounding remarkably like the Republican establishment talking about Donald Trump. And guess what? Nobody on the Republican side, Willie, is listening.
Let's take a look at the